we're talking about is facing everything, facing it all, and avoiding nothing. And I was going to get to this later, but the truth is that what we need is courage. It has to be our part and then God's part. Our part is the courage to get through anything that you're going through in life, be it a panic attack or whatever. It's the courage, because courage is of the heart. You bring your heart to that, you know, and that's your part. That doesn't mean the panic attack or anything that's what you're going through is going to go away. But what it means is you bring your courage, you do your part, and God's part is the grace. God's part is the energy that moves through you and says, it's okay, you're going to get through this. You're going to get through this. So I want to start with a story. It's an old wisdom tale, and I love those kind of stories. And it's about a man, and I've told it I think before, but it works for this. It's about a man on the side of the road, and he's working along the side of the road, and a traveler comes by, and he looks and he goes, hey, excuse me, I'm moving to the next town. How are the people over there in the next town? And the gentleman looks at him and he says, well, how were the people in the town that you were from? He said, oh, they were mean and, you know, disgusting. And so the guy goes, well, guess what? They're mean and they're disgusting there too. So the guy goes on. So he goes back to his work, and all of a sudden another guy comes by and he says, excuse me, I'm moving to the next town. Can you tell me how the people are there? And the gentleman said, well, how are the people at the town you were from? And he said, oh, they were friendly and helpful. And the guy goes, they are friendly and helpful there too. Just keep going. The idea being that wherever you are, there you are. Wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go, there you are. You know, you are, I love what, it's Peter Children, I think she says, your world is how you are. Your world, you see the world how you are, not how it is. Right? You see the world how you are. Right? Same place. Same place. Some people would love this, some people don't. It depends on you. You know, you decide, you get to decide. You take your beliefs with you. You take your beliefs with you. You take your fixed opinions. Even Children talks about this, and I think this is so incredibly important, is that we take our own self-worth with us. We take everything we think about us, we take our ego, and we take our fears wherever we go in life. We can never hide from it. We can never hide, but we have a choice. See, we have a choice when we're dealing with all of these fears. And put the next PowerPoint up, would you, David? Here's our choices. We can either face everything and remember, or forget everything. You thought it was good. I wasn't going to say it. I like forget better. Okay? Because I've done that so much. You can say whatever you want to, but you can forget everything and run, and I've done that, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But the truth is, what we all are trying to do is face everything. Face it and remember who we are. We're talking about that we are a divine being. We're divine beings, and that's what we have to do, is face everything up front. Your panic attack face, I won't keep saying that. But you face whatever it is in your life, and then remember that you are more than that, that your problem is just a little problem in God's eyes, right? In the whole big scope of the universe. But it's a conscious choice to face it, and that's what this whole talk is about. That you know, we have so many ups and downs in life. We have fears, we have joys, we have it all. That's what life is. It's, the Buddhists say it's 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows. Good, the bad, and the ugly. And it reminds me of there was an ad in someplace in England, a newspaper, and it said lost. It was about a lost cat, you know, mangy, one-eyed, lonely, crippled, neutered, and answers to the name of Lucky. I got kind of a kick out of that, because that's kind of like us, you know. Sometimes we're, you know, we really, when we're in our wiser moments, we feel pretty lucky with life. And then there's those moments that suck, you know. There's just moments that are tough. You go through your divorce, you go through relationship problems, you go through health challenges, you go through this stuff. You don't feel so lucky. So the spiritual journey is all of it. Ram Dass says what it's about is falling down and getting back up. Falling down and getting back up. Every moment, you know, it's falling down and getting back up. But what Pema Children says, and I love this because I've been there and I know you have too, is to be fully human and fully alive is to be thrown out of the nest continually. Have you felt thrown out of the nest? How many times in your life? And it describes it so perfectly. You know, it's groundlessness. Would you put up the other slide back again? I probably don't want to keep that up all the time. But you know what it is? It's a groundlessness feeling. And I thought about how, you know, many times, and I know many of you have been thrown out of the nest, literally, and, you know, in your life, how many times this has happened. So Buddhism has three different, has a thing they call the 3 commitments, or the 3 vows, and that's what this book is about, this Pima children that we're working. First one, not to cause harm. Second is take care of one another. It's the Bodhisattva vow that we worked with. And the third one is what we're talking about. And the third one is to face everything and avoid nothing. It's about really embracing the world, embracing everything that is. And that's the hardest practice, that's what they say. It's the hardest practice you'll ever do, embracing what is in your life. Doesn't mean you have to like it. It just means you have to accept what's going on, and then you can change it if you need to. But you have to accept what's going on in your life, because it's resistance and is causing the suffering. It's the resistance about it. It's the hardest thing to do, but there's nowhere to hide from it. So we have to have the courage to work with it. We have to do our part. Our part is the courage to bring our heart and expand our universe a little bit. We need to face our fears and remember who we are. And we do that by realizing who we are not. This is a huge practice. See, it's easier to remember who we are. I'm God, I'm the man, but who we are not. See, who we really are not. We might be manifested this lifetime as a wife, a student, you know, whatever you are for a while, right? And then you're not. You know, you're a kid for a while, then you're not. You're a teenage for a while, then you're not. You're a wife for a while, then you're not. You know? That's the thing. You'll be human for a while, then you won't be. Life is like that. And the more that we can embrace that and make friends with this mystery of life, the easier our life will be, the more at peace we will be with it. Because that's the #1 thing that scares everybody. Scares everybody is change. They want everything to stay the same, and it doesn't. Life just doesn't do that. And so, fear. And so the answer is, Pima Children says that we have this fixed view of who we are, this fixed identity. This is the way it should be. You know, this I am this, and I should be this. And when we think this, everything is a threat to who we think we are, right? I'm a wife. I keep saying I'm a wife because that was my biggest identity. I was a wife of a corporate executive, and all of a sudden, in one day, I wasn't. It was all thrown out the window, and I'm not that anymore, and my world fell apart because my identity was not placed in the incredible beingness within. It was placed outside. That's huge. That's huge. I was thrown out of the nest in one day, literally. You mean, it was an incredible groundlessness feeling. Not a wife anymore. Wow. You know, instead of concentrating now, you know, and since then there's been other ways I've been thrown out of the nest. But at that time, I didn't have any tools. And I was floating in nothingness. I don't know what that means, floating in nothingness. It just meant it was a really scary, scary place to be. You know, where all your identities is in a label of who you think you are. And it came crashing down, and I know it happens to so many of us, you know. But what she says is, just because the ground keeps moving doesn't mean that something's wrong. It just means that life is suffering sometimes. And when you aren't so attached to everything being what it is, you know, being perfect, being something you think it should be. I forgot my thought. But you know what I mean? I'm glad you do. Okay. So here's the deal. I was so caught up. Actually, you know what's funny? My mind started to think about that time frame, because isn't it funny how when you kind of rehash it back in your head, you feel it again, right? Can you think of a painful time in your life? All of a sudden you start to feel it, and that's what thought does. That's what thought, the minute that the thought starts to go over back in your head, you start to feel it through your body. You rehash the whole situation. It reminds me of my brother. My God, he went through something years and years ago, and he talks about it all the time, 25 years ago, and it still happened. And he gets worked up, and he's talking on the phone, and he's all worked up over it, and he's just upset over it. We do that to ourselves, see? And that's what she's talking about, is that that she actually, do you remember the time, I think I talked about the stroke of insight about Jill Bolte Taylor, who said that physiologically an emotion will hit you, go through your body, and physiologically it's supposed to only take 90 seconds, right, to move through your body. And anything after that is you. You are the one that keeps rethinking it over and over and over. Wow. So really, it just should move through your body in 90 seconds, but we are the ones. My brother for 25 years has thought about this same thing. I hope that God is not watching this. Maybe this talk won't be up, you guys. But it's our emotions, see, it's our emotions that make us feel so vulnerable. And here's the deal, that she says, here's what Pima says, here's what all of the traditions say, is that when these emotions arise, we gotta go with it. You know, we have to face them head on. You know, we can't pretend that they're not there. When we feel sad, you know, or when we feel something, we gotta feel it. We have to feel it and move through it. Now, we don't have to camp out there. Don't hear me say that. We're not gonna camp out there for you know, years, 25 years. Yeah, but we do need to feel it at the time it comes, right? At the time it comes, you feel it. And as you do, see, what happens is your consciousness, it expands as you let it have its way. You create a space. You create the space for God to move through. That's grace. You do the courage. The courage is to face it and let God move through it. See? You say, I see you. Judy mentioned it. She said, I see you. You know, in Buddhism they go, I see you, Mara. Mara is like the devil. You know, the devil in the Christian religion is the one the trickster that tempts you, right? And in Buddhism it's Mara. It's the illusion. I see you, Mara. So when you get that nagging feeling of, oh, I should be doing this, or I'm no good, or I'm this label, I'm this, I'm that, it's, I see you, Mara. I see you, I see you. It's there, I'm acknowledging it, but I'm not gonna camp out in that feeling for 25 years. We're evolving. Gosh, we're just this work in process. We're a paradox, you know, we are a paradox. We're one thing and then we're another. But everything, in this whole month, you know, we have been talking about being God. Being God, that sounds pretty blasphemous, I think, and I don't like to say it outside of this circle because they seem to think we think we're gods. And we do, but but not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. Not that, you know, what we think is that there's a power of the spark of God in us. There's this incredible love inside of us, just like there's a powerful, powerful, you know, energy all around and through us. And we're a part of it, that's all. We're not trying to take God's place. You know, we are a piece of the divine, and that's what we need to step into. When we're going through these emotions, we're going through this stuff, we face it by stepping into the power that we know will get us through. We make God bigger than our problem. We make the energy of the universe, the love, you know, that's what it is. It's just the power of love. Use that word. I like it way better. You know, that's the power of love. And that's how we heal it. But we have to have the courage. You can't just say, here, I want love to come. You got to do your part. You got to step into what's going on in your life and feel it and make the intention that you will move through it. And when you do, love or grace will move through you and change it. I can't even tell you. You know, I actually felt it in my life. I felt the whole feeling of grace move through. And it works. It works. Love moves through you and it heals and it forgives and it changes your life and it moves you into a whole different direction than you ever thought possible. Than you ever thought was possible. There's nowhere to hide, and I say thank God, because you don't want to hide from yourself. You don't want to hide from yourself. You're beautiful. You're incredible, awesome, you know, human beings with a spiritual, no, you're spiritual beings with a human body, right? With a human body. So my prayer is that all of us, that we face these demons in our life, that we move, you know, right, face smack them. Everything that's going on, look right at it. You know, don't run. Don't forget it. Don't forget it and run. I didn't want to slip there. Don't forget it and run. We don't want to do that. We want to face it. We want to face it and remember who we are. Thank you for joining us.